Hello everyone, I'm Surya Nada. Welcome to Sounds of Awakening. This podcast offers a direct experiential doorway to the all-illuminating mystic realm, blending soundscapes with poetic and informative word. Both ancient and modern visions of seekers and saints are sonically revealed. Wherever you are right now, it's a blessing to be with you, united in sound. Today I'm speaking about a popular spiritual myth, and that is the belief that you have a specific frequency and you should raise that frequency. In fact, these are two myths packed into one slogan, which is raise your frequency. In this episode, we'll find some truth and untruth in this statement. It's actually based on a research I did around this topic some years ago, and I wrote an article that is on the blog of our retreat center, and soon I will repost it on my website. So yeah, we'll investigate this statement, but as always in this podcast, we try to go deeper than what we can see on the surface. We will explore here both the high and low tides of the ocean of consciousness and aim to get more understanding of it. Please enjoy this episode. You are rising on the wings of the eagle. You fly high. Lifting above the clouds. Soaring freely through the open sky. You can now look down with clarity. Crystal clear is your vision, sharp your eagle eye. Now there is peace. Now, no matter what happened before, now all is perfect as it is. Now you remember the interconnectedness of all beings. You remember who you are. Loving awareness. Vibrating consciousness. Vibrating, 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 vibrating. This state of raised consciousness, clarity, heightened perception, the moment that all feels clear, aligned, and calm. Did you ever experience this? For some of you, it might have been just a glimpse, but I'm sure you've had this in one way or another. And for others, it's a daily experience. For some of you, this experience came totally unexpected, without any given cause, And for others, it arrived after the intake of a psychedelic substance. And yet others came here after a long-term intensive spiritual practice. The entrance door may look very different, but when awakening happens, we all share experiences of rising up in one way or another. And we all come to experience the true nature of our being. One aspect of our true being is vibration or vibrating consciousness. You might have experienced the universe as a field of vibration. You might have experienced yourself as a vibration. And so people who had some kind of awakening often tend to be intuitively drawn to words like rising up and vibration.
Here are 3 things that you need to start doing if you want to raise your vibration. So the first thing you need to do is simply eat more fruits.
What if I told you that even in the midst of these trying times, you have the power to instantly raise your vibration?
How to raise your vibration in seconds.
What is it that is going to shift your vibration more than anything else?
And if you're not feeling good, you're in a bad vibration.
I'm going to introduce you to powerful techniques you can start using immediately to raise your vibration.
So yes, on the internet it's full of talk about vibration and frequency.
If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla.
Did Nikola Tesla actually say this? No, he didn't.
So today we're going to raise your frequency.
Well, it's not you. You're not the problem, it's your frequency.
When you're in a low frequency, you're in a decreased state of consciousness. Your perception is limited. When you're in a high frequency, you're in an increased state of consciousness and your perception is heightened.
Your job is to drop those bags of sand for you to raise your frequency and step into your power.
Raise your frequency. It's a modern day classic, one of the most popular slogans in spiritual circles today. But what is it actually based on? Which frequency are we talking about? And why would it need to be raised instead of lowered? In order to heal and awaken and liberate ourselves from suffering and ignorance, do we really need to get high? Let's sit for a moment with the key term here in this narrative, which is frequency. What is frequency? Technically speaking, a frequency is a number of cycles per second. According to Wikipedia, frequency is, quote, the number of occurrences of a repeating event per unit of time. So that means if you state that you should raise your frequency, you believe somehow that you, as a person, are that type of vibration that can be measured scientifically. And whatever that rate of vibration is, we should accelerate it. We should vibrate faster. Should we really vibrate faster? So let's say you are Eddie, and the total of all energy that makes up Eddie vibrates at a rate of 440 Hertz. That means 440 cycles per second. Then Eddie is better off if he vibrates at 444 Hertz, which is 4 cycles per second faster, right? Frequency is a popular term because it connects to the latest science. And it's popular in New Age spirituality because the New Age loves to connect ancient spiritual teachings to scientific knowledge. And yeah, that's great. The intersection between both worlds is fascinating. However, it is not always helpful or relevant to throw scientific and spiritual jargon in one and the same cooking pot. It often creates a weird soup. And that is especially the case when the applied terms are completely misplaced and misunderstood. Frequency surely is one of the most misunderstood terms in spiritual circles. Frequency implies measurement. We Western people are obsessed with numbers and measuring every possible living thing. And this obsession continues in the way we approach spirituality today. I believe we overlook the fact that not everything can or should be measured. I can tell you bluntly that you, the totality of the human being that you are, cannot be measured and will never be measured. It's a new age fantasy. Would you really like yourself to be limited to a mere number? A number of rates per second? You, this vast open mystery that is you. Don't we limit the freedom of our life enough already with overthinking and trying to understand everything? You don't fit in that box. Because let me tell you, you are unlimited. You are deeper and more complex than any system, machine, or scientist can grasp, measure, or comprehend. You are incomprehensible nature, both organic and cosmic. You are all of it. You are a great mystery, living vibration beyond the scope of the mind. You are a timeless mystery. You are timeless, 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 timeless. The clock is ticking. Time is passing by. And yet, in the background, there is the ever-present, timeless watcher, the immortal seer, eternal consciousness, looking through your eyes and consciously listening through your ears right now. Do you feel this presence? Consciousness, so inherent to your own being that it tends to be overlooked. Your own being tends to forget about itself. Oh, do we forget? Oh, do we get lost in the matrix of time? And in losing ourselves, we get attached to time. Do you know that urge to check the time constantly? How many clocks are there within the space that you occupy right now? Yes, we are collectively obsessed with numbers and time. Do you know this feeling of running out of time? Like time is too short? That feeling of time ticking, slipping through your fingers, precious moments evaporating in the eternal fire that is time. Kala Agni, the fire of Kali, the fire of time, as it is called by Hindus. Oh, do we fear Kala Agni? Oh, do we fear time, the force of change, the burning impermanence, the living mortality? And so we react with obeying to the clock. Since there is no more cross above the door entrance of the kitchen, which symbol did replace it? It's the clock. It's time ticking on your altar. Who are you honoring? Who are you obeying? And so we plan, and we fill our agenda as much as we can. And what happens when control becomes obsession? Time seems to speed up. You're running your ass off. You're constantly busy, ever restless, unable to pause. Quickly, or you might miss out on something. Quickly, or you miss the deadline. Faster, 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 faster. And you burn out. Where did it go wrong? You were actually raising your frequencies. On many vibratory levels, you were going faster. You were going higher. Physiologically, when you're under stress, the frequency of your heart rate and breathing is higher. Mentally, your brainwave frequencies, the frequencies of thoughts, are higher. The flow of prana, vital energy, tends to move upwards, towards the head, often leaving the lower body feeling cold and disconnected. The movement is upward. So you were actually raising your frequencies, and you burn out. Now, does that mean we should lower our frequencies? When our aim is a healthy nervous system and a spacious, happy mind, without a doubt, we should come down. In sound healing, we often work with drones, long stretched, deep tones, as the one you are hearing right now. These drones should never be high. They should be low foundational tones. Low tones calm down the nervous system. High tones activate it. And although we do need both, in this 21st century, we human beings get way too much activated. We should learn to calm down. Lower your frequency. We should learn how to deal with fast technology in a healthy way and balance it out with embodied activities and practices. Lower your frequency. We should learn to go slowly, steadily. We should learn to ground. And it's from a stable ground that consciousness can rise, without you having to lose the connection with your body. Yes, then consciousness can truly rise, flying high with the eagle in the sky. And here you meet God. There is only one, and that one is often described as truth, consciousness, and bliss. The famous Adi Shankaracharya, who lived in the 8th century in India, wrote, Satchitananda Swarupa Ayam Atma. The nature of the self is Satchitananda. Truth, consciousness, and bliss is the nature of the self. Yes, one who goes through an actual awakening comes to experience truth with a capital T, and true love and divine bliss. But then what? When you reached the climax of experience, how shall you come down? Or will you stay up? Do you want to come down? Oh, do you love these highs, don't you? And suddenly you're full of thoughts about avoiding the also necessary descent. You know, dealing with difficult relationships, earning money, doing the dishes, and attending Christmas parties with the family. You would do anything just to stay up in your heavenly, blissful golden cage. Isn't there a magic pill that keeps you there? Well, maybe there is. It's called MDMA, also goes by the name of ecstasy, right? Or isn't there a spiritual plant that does this job for you? Plant medicines, anyone? Or could I just breathe way too fast for about half an hour, rapidly climb to the lost high from yesterday and just stay there? The problem is, no, you can't stay there forever. Usually, the higher you go, the lower it gets afterwards. That's a pain in the ass. And don't get me wrong here. Nothing against breathwork, plant medicines, microdosing, Kundalini awakening exercises, and any other type of intense practice or experience. On the contrary, I believe these things are extremely powerful in opening up energies that are otherwise often hard to move. But could we question for a moment, what is the point of this practice you are doing? Do you want to get high? Or do you want to get to the truth? Truth is, whether you're high or low is irrelevant. Truth is everywhere. Truth is in everything. What's the goal of your spiritual practice? Is it ecstasy, getting high? Or is it stability, equanimity, and inner peace? There exists an energetic current that moves downward. After having explored the heavens and the subtle spheres within, you need to come down again and integrate, embody awakening. Traditional Tantra teaches about Kundalini moving upward, and that is what Western people took from it. Little is known by the downward moving Kundalini, starting from the crown, moving down, all the way down into the base center. In fact, traditionally, Tantra put a great emphasis on this downward flowing Kundalini. Sri Aurobindo, who lived about a century ago in India, wrote, quote, "The practice of this yoga is double. One side is of an ascent of the consciousness to the higher planes. The other is that of a descent of the power of the higher planes into the earth consciousness, so as to drive out the power of darkness and ignorance and transform the nature." Unquote. This view on the spiritual path is fully aligned with the traditional tantric path that teaches about God or Goddess being both transcendent and immanent. Now, what does that mean? If you experience yourself rising above the clouds of your troubles and thoughts, and you stop identifying entirely with your thoughts, emotions, and your body, that means you transcend it. There is a transcendental power we could call God or Goddess, but this is only one side of her face. The other side is the elephant dropping down into the mud, eating and farting because it's natural, because it happens, because it's the language of the body. Among Tibetan lamas, there is a saying, quote, "Beware of the guru who does not poo." They could as well say, "Beware of the guru who does not fart." Do you feel uncomfortable if I'm using this word in a spiritual-oriented podcast? Do you think this doesn't fit? Well, then that's your cultural conditioning. Countless people in Western countries learned to control their farts or even stop them entirely. This is not just physically very unhealthy, but it also blocks the downward flow of energy. These people tend to be less grounded. After all, a fart is a rather low vibration, right?
Low vibration.
We've got a cultural preference for high vibrations and often tend to ridicule and banish earthly vibrations like these. So we think farts are inappropriate. You just don't do that. It's low vibrational, or at its best, it's funny, but it's not normal. Now, if you want to heal your fart issue and want to liberate this specific suppressed energy, go spend some time with local Indian people, because they don't know any shame around this sound. They burp and fart around freely, no matter of their status, no matter of their caste, and no matter of where they are. Years ago, I arrived extremely ill at a hospital in India. And after some hours, I could finally speak with the head doctor of that hospital. When I just met him, he said, "Hello, Mr. from Belgium. What's the matter with you?" And before I could even answer, he released a massive wind. Anyway, all of this just to say that there is a spiritual and energetic upward movement and a downward movement that demands us to embrace life fully, including bodily sounds, rhythms, highs and lows. After having reached the highest skies, it is God's will that we come down and integrate whatever we came to understand up there beyond the clouds. And at first, we might just talk about our high experience, but then later on, we need to walk this talk. To walk this understanding, to walk awakening. And slowly but steadily, while we give ourselves time to mature, it's the rhythms of nature that allow you to land softly and fully. By listening to her, you entrain awakened consciousness with her rhythms. I'm speaking of all the natural rhythms. Your walk itself is one of them. You keep on walking, slowly, steadily, and you listen. To the rhythms of the crickets and the birds. The cycle of the earth around the sun, the rhythm of the seasons, the cycles of the plants. You listen, slow down and lower your frequency. Thank you so much for listening. If you resonate with all of this, you're very welcome to support this project through a financial contribution. You can find the link in the description. That enables me to continue to create this content open and free for everyone. Or another way of supporting is by sharing the podcast with your friends or your network. Also, do let me know your view on this topic. I'm always interested in that. You can email me or connect through social media. I'm on Facebook and also recently opened the matrix of Instagram. So maybe see you there. If you're interested to study sound healing and meditation with me, definitely stay tuned because soon a new training will be offered. This will be online latest by the end of the month. If you're interested in these frequency-related topics, do check out my articles. Some of them are quite in-depth research projects, and I might also elaborate on some of these topics in the following episodes. And then shortly, the sources of these episodes, I quoted from Sri Aurobindo from his own book, The Integral Yoga, and as always drew from the philosophical view of the non-dual tantric tradition. If you like to study this tradition, I do recommend the work of Christopher Wallis. And if you like to practice it, I do integrate it myself also in the retreats and trainings I offer. So thank you again for listening. See you next time. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.